Hello YouTube, Chrome Freak here. The Marlin Model 60, the most popular .22 rifle, the most selling .22 rifle in history. I love this rifle. And a couple months back we did a video and there's a problem with it. It was my father's rifle and I want to get it working again. And when I opened it up we figured out that the feed throat, there's definitely something wrong with the feed throat. And also, the ejector lifter spring, I wanted to order that because I thought it didn't look quite right. However, it took 2 months for Marlin to deliver on the parts. And now that I finally got the parts, they're wrong. Feed throat's right, I got that. However, they sent me a hammer spring and I ordered an ejector lifter spring. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that there's really nothing wrong with the ejector lifter spring. And I'll go ahead and I'll install this new hammer spring and use the old one. I'll just keep it as a spare part. There's really no need to even change it, but for the video's sake, we'll go ahead and do it. Why not have a new part in there if I got it? So anyway, with that said, Marlin, I'm very disappointed in their customer service. Very disappointed. It shouldn't have taken that long, first of all, to get my parts. And if they had to be back ordered, they should have just told me they had to be back ordered. They blamed the Postal Service for losing the first delivery. Then it took another 5 weeks almost, 4 to 5 weeks to get the second delivery. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take this rifle apart and we're going to get to work real quick. What I'm going to do is kind of edit together. I'm not very good at editing, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the stock off. We're going to get the receiver apart and we're going to get the actual part that I'm going to work on out. I'll move the camera and try to do a close-up on it and try to hopefully edit both those two little videos together. Like I said, I'm a bozo when it comes to editing, a complete moron. Anyway, let's get started here. To get the stock off, we're going to take 2 screws. One's located right here and one right here behind the trigger guard. We'll take these off and get rolling. Like I said, it really disappoints me a company like Marlin, who's really a huge part of American firearm history, would sink as low as they have. I mean, it was shocking to me, to be honest with you. I never dreamed that I would have this much problems getting parts for the most popular firearm in America, by the way. I mean, it's just amazing. And very disappointed, I really am. Anyway, we get those 2 screws out. Stock comes right off, as you see, and it's a beautiful, well-made, crafted stock. It really is. The quality for the price of what you pay for a Marlin is outstanding. I got to say that. And I love Marlin firearms, but very disappointed in their customer service. Okay, let's go ahead and, you know what, for all the safety sallies out there, I forgot to show it when I started the magazine, or when I started the video. I'd already taken the feed tube out of the magazine tube here, and it is empty completely. And by the way, guys, with a tube-fed rifle like this, I one time took it out. Where's it at, by the way? Anyway, that's one other thing. There was a round in there I wasn't quite aware of, so it's always good to second check that. You know, take a light really and look down in there and make sure there is nothing left in this magazine tube, because like I said, I did have that happen where one was up in there, and you know what could happen there, and things could get ugly quick. Anyway, there you go, safety sallies. And it's that quick and that easy. This is the part we're going to be working on. I'll call it, for the sake of this video, the hammer assembly, but it does so much more than just house the hammer. The ejectors in there, the feed throat, your sear, all that's in there. And like I said, for the sake of the video, that's what we're going to call it. There's really no need to take anything else out of the rifle, so we're going to go ahead and set this off to the side. We're going to take my wood right here and we're going to go to work, guys. And what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to shut the camera off, move everything, the camera up onto the table here, and try to do this in a close-up where you can see exactly what's going on. But you can see here's the feed throat right here. The hammer spring is right there, which once again I did not order. What I ordered is right here. This is your ejector right here, and the spring goes up underneath the ejector and keeps it pushed up tight. And that's what I ordered, and somehow they got that mixed up and gave me a hammer spring. And I'm very disappointed with Marlin's customer service and parts department. I really am. Anyway, guys, we'll be back in just a minute. Hello YouTube, Chrome Freak here. My tool's all a mess over here. Okay, as you can see, we've changed positions and we're back over here now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take what I'm going to call the hammer assembly apart. It is so much more than a hammer assembly. Your ejectors in here, your feed throat, your hammer, your sear, hammer spring, sear spring, ejector spring, all that in one fine little package here. Anyway guys, I just want to tell you I'm very tired. Once again, I know I've said this in so many videos here lately, but I am just working hours like I have never worked in my entire life. I am blessed to be working them hours, I understand that, not complaining, just very tired, and that's why I haven't been putting out the videos I want. But I have 9 days coming up, guys, that I'm going to have off, and we're going to crank out some videos, some ones I've been planning, some really good ones I hope. But right now, let's go ahead and get this rolling here. There's 4 lock washers, or lock keepers, whatever you want to call them. They're right here. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I know they're very hard to see. And by the way, I'm looking at this and I can see little scratches where my dad had actually got in here and worked on this himself. And it's a little part of him. And I'm not going to get all emotional, but anyway, let's get working on this. We're going to go ahead. You got to be very careful, guys. These are very small and very easy to lose. And if you lose them, you're kind of in trouble until you get some more. You can get these somewhere else, but if you order from Marlin, be prepared to wait quite a while, because if I could help it, I'm never going to do business with Marlin customer service ever again. And that easy, that one come off. As you can see, it's very, 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 very tiny. Very easy to lose. So be careful you don't lose them. Slip it around where I can get this one a little bit better. Yeah, I can see the scratches where my dad was a tinkerer like myself, runs in the family, and I guess that's where I got it from. And there's another one. Be careful I don't cut myself with a screwdriver, because I'm on so many blood thinners I'll bleed till tomorrow. Okay, and the final one, it's a big one right here. This one's not so bad to lose. I actually have some spares of this size, I believe. I have a kit of these, but I know I don't have any of those little tiny guys right there in it. I'm gonna have to order some of them just to keep them on hand. Anyway, you get those 4 off, and what we're gonna do is this whole side is going to come off. I have taken a Marlin 60 down a few times before, never this particular one. It's pretty simple, but as with anything in firearms, these could be very, very it'll get under your skin, because everything is so small and it's just tough. It's an easy fix. It's an easy job. It really is. Technically, it's very easy. It's the size of the parts in your big goofy fingers that always get in the way. And you got to be careful when you take the side plate off, because what's going to happen is this hammer spring right here is going to want to shoot out. So you got to be very kind of careful. Just pick it up and hold things. You can see it pops right off. And by the way, I know on one Marlin 60 I took it apart. This was very hard to come off, and it took some gumption. I had to use a screwdriver. I can't remember what I used. I had to pry it off. It was on there, and I'm sure if it's never been down before, it's probably going to be hard to take off. Not all of them are going to pop off this easy. Like I said, I could see that my father has been in here before and worked on this. I could see scratches right there. At every keeper, there was scratches, so I know he has worked on this. And I could see from this old feed throat that he tried to fix it. Somehow it broke. I wish I knew the story on it, but I don't. So anyhow, let's go ahead and start. I'll just get the spring off. This is the hammer spring right here, out of the way. This is the plate that holds the spring in. And by the way, this is going to be the most difficult part when we put this back together again, is keeping this in place and getting that plate on. That's going to be the one that makes me kind of pull my hair out. Anyway, we're going to simply lift this up and pull it off, just like so. There's your old feed plate, or feed throat, I'm sorry. And you can see, I hope you can see where my dad, I'm guessing, because this looks like it probably broke, and then he was trying to alter it and fix it. And I could see a hole in here. I don't know if he drilled in that or if that's actually the brake. I really don't know. I wish I did know the story on this. And as silly as it sounds, I'll probably keep this forever, because I know his hands worked on this. God rest his soul. I miss my dad tremendously. I really do. Anyway, let's go ahead and take this off. This is, I'll give you the technical name of it, because people complain about that. The cartridge lifter. What it does is it lifts the cartridge up into the feed throat, keeps it there, and then helps eject afterward. And that's what that does. Really no need to take it off, but I took it off because I want to get to this spring right here. This is the spring that I had actually ordered from Marlin. And instead they sent me a hammer spring. But as you can see, it's got bends in it, which are all normal. This bend here, and even this bend here. It's between this bend and this bend, as you could see. I'm not sure if you could tell from the camera. It's got a little hook in it right there, and that shouldn't be there. I know that for a fact. So I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed, like I said, and hope that this will still work. But if not, I'm gonna have to find this spring from someplace, and God, I hope it's not from Marlin, because it'll be another 2-3 months, I'm guessing. It's amazing to me. It really is. A company that size, who has a great reputation. I don't know if my luck, something's gone on, or if they're really starting to go downhill on their customer service, but it's really disappointing. And I gotta say, I hope that their firearms, well, once again, just take a look at the stock. I mean, this thing is beautiful. It really is. The craftsmanship in it, I mean, just everything it's high quality. You can see where they're cutouts. I mean, there's just no burrs, there's no roughness. It's just gorgeous. The quality is up there, like Marlin should be. That name has always been, to me, a great name in American firearms, and I hope it's to the customer service, and I hope they get better, but I just hope it doesn't spread into their firearm production, because they do an outstanding job. They really do, and I'm not here to badmouth Marlin. I've always loved Marlin. I'm just a little bit disappointed in this round I had with them. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this back in. And how this works is this actually rests against the side plate from the inside. So you want this part of it, this bend, this hook, up against this side plate. So it's going to go on just like so, just like that. And you can see there's another spring underneath there. I hope you can see. Not this spring here, but this one right here that uses this bar right here as a rest to put tension on the sear. That's actually your sear spring. So you got to make sure that that does not get inside of these. And it's nothing difficult to do. You just rest it on top of it pretty much. And then when you put it back, just make sure it hasn't shifted and gotten into the grooves of this spring. That I know has happened. It happened to me. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this rocking again. We're going to take the new feed throat. We're going to match it up and make sure that it's a proper one. And everything looks good. It looks exact same size. I could tell that these sharp edges, these are kind of molded a little bit different. But what's important is the size of everything down in the throat itself and the openings here, and all that looks to me like it's going to match up real well. So this is a part that was made. I bought this rifle for my father, I think back in the early 90s. And this is obviously a new part right here that I guess they're still using in their rifles they're making today. It's just a little bit different. Some of these cuts I could see in it. Anyway, that's just going to simply rest in there like that. Get the spring up and out of the way. Just go ahead and push that spring up out of the way and let this rest in 2 notches that it's supposed to fit in. And then you can bring this back down. Actually, I'll just leave that out of the way from now. And guys, once again, I'm not no expert. I've done this before. Not this particular thing, but I've taken this piece apart before. Like I said, not on this firearm, but other Model 60s, and they're all the same. Just take your time, and if you need to take pictures when you're taking it apart, take pictures so you know where everything goes. It's very simple, but it's also very easy to put something in wrong or backward or upside down, and let me tell you, that's me. I always mess up. I really do. You can ask my wife. I'm constantly messing stuff up. Okay, make sure that this is going to go in the proper way. And what it is, it's got a little round point right there. That's going to be up. And this is the top. So kind of want to feed this in here like so. Put it on where it goes and then sit it in. Simple as that. That part's changed. Now they sent me a new hammer spring I did not order or need. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to match it up to the old one. This is the new one. This is the old one. Let's see. Make sure everything's the same. and they're not. There you go. This is what I'm talking about. This spring is under a lot of tension as it is, and I know it's not compressed. All these rings look very good. Their distance is equal and the same, so what's telling me is this spring is a longer spring. It's not the proper spring. And it's already tough to get this one compressed in there and there. I'm not even about to try to put this one. This one's going to go into a parts bin, and I'll mark it hammer spring for Model 60. But I don't think it's for a Model 60, and if it is, maybe the newer ones are set up a little bit different. Once again, just take a look at this, and I just figured this out just now. The new one is longer than the old one. So we're not even going to attempt that. Thank you, Marlin, for first of all not sending me the proper spring that I ordered, and then you send me a hammer spring that's not even the right size one. So thumbs up, Marlin. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and fit this back on the hammer bar. Just slides on. There's really no way to wrong way to put it on. Both ends are identical, so you cannot make a mistake there. Let's put this on. And here's your plate. Now this could be, and is, the most difficult part of putting this back together, getting this side plate back on and your keepers back on is, wow, look how small they were. They all went together. I thought I lost one. I'm not sure you can see that down there. Anyway, you got a little notch on this side and you got a notch on this side right here. This longer notch is going to go up and down, and the reason being is it's got to fit around what I'll call your hammer bar right here. Hope you can see it. Once again, I know the lighting and my video quality is like, I shoot these by myself, and sometimes it can be very difficult, especially when you're doing little intricate work like this, and I want you guys to see, and I'm in the process of trying to improve it. I just need somebody who really knows how to do videos to give me some pointers with lighting and stuff like that. What I need is I need about 3 other arms, because that would be very helpful. Anyhow, this notch right here is going to go into this hole right there. This piece is cut out, like I said, for the hammer bar. So you kind of fit that piece in just like that. Now what you got to do, and like I said, this is the most difficult part of putting this back together, is you got to compress the spring, get it into the slot right here in the middle. The bar goes into that with the spring compressed, and you got to kind of hold that with your fingers in place as you get this side plate back on. A lot easier said than done. Once again, not a very difficult job, but it's one that will get you very frustrated very quickly. It might take me a few times to do this, but I don't cut nothing out. First of all, I'm horrible at editing, and I want you guys to see that sometimes you got to have a little patience. It takes time to do stuff, and time is a premium for me right now. It's not something I have a whole lot of. In fact, I'm not even going to have the time to upload this video tonight, unfortunately. It's I got to be up for work at 2 a.m. That sounds crazy, and it is crazy, but I don't make the hours, I just work them. And anyhow, let's go ahead and get this started. I put this back on, which is your bolt release. It fits right in just like this, and it's going to go down like this on top of the fire. On top of, let's once again call it the hammer assembly, and this is kind of how it fits back together. But, and here's the but, before you attempt that, we have to get this hammer bar into that slot with that spring compressed, and you got to hold it. So what I do is I stick the bottom end so it's got nowhere to go, and I kind of put the spring on. I hope you could see this. I know there's not a lot right there. It's in, but it's not. It is, but it's not. So let's make sure it is, because we'll be doing it 5 or 6 times if not. And I'm sorry guys if I don't sound normal and up to par. It's because I am completely exhausted. Oh, see what I'm saying? This could be very, very frustrating and very, very difficult. Oh, and by the way, real quickie, here's your hammer right here. Your hammer has to be up. If your hammer is down, you are never, ever, I promise you, going to get that in. So you got to make sure your hammer's up. If your hammer's down, you simply take anything like this. You could even use this, and this is your sear, and you're gonna have to just pull your sear back like so, just like that, and that will release your hammer to go up and forward. And you're gonna have to have it up and forward once again to get your plate on. It's just not gonna happen any other way, unless you got fingers that are just unbelievably strong and small. Anyhow, let's go ahead and give this another shot, guys. Like I said, this could take me a few times to get, because it's just hard to do. And you got to kind of hold this and just line it up on, and I'm losing it. You know what I need to do? I need to put something here that will stop this from sliding. And that's going to be kind of too big. Let me just kind of push my tools out of the way. I hate to do that, but I need something that's going to help me to stop this whole assembly from moving out of my way from that spring pressure. So I'm sorry I'm kind of going slow here. It's just that I'm trying to slow the videos down. I don't want to make long videos. And here I go on a ramble. I don't want to make long videos, but sometimes you need to take your time and really show that, first of all, it does take time. You don't do this in 30 seconds unless you have the proper tools. I am not a gunsmith. I am an amateur, and I use the tools I can afford to buy. I can't afford to buy a bunch of gunsmithing tools and specialty tools. There is a tool out there that compresses this spring and will hold it for you. I know there is. At least I was told there was. Well, I'm not going to buy it because I don't have the money to buy it. Like everybody else, I'm working a lot of hours, or trying to work as many hours as I possibly can, but we also got to watch every dime if I want to buy ammo and stuff like that. And you know, this is why I'm doing this this is why I do this kind of work myself and don't send it out to get done, is because I just simply can't afford to. And there it is. You just got to make sure that the plate is up in this notch. It's in the notch on the bottom. Here's 1 pin, 2 pins, 3 and 4 that the locks go on. And we're going to go ahead and put the one in. I'm going to put the big one on first. Why not? It's the easiest one to work with. And we'll go ahead and, if you got strong fingers, you can probably push it on with your fingers. I don't want to cut my hand. I'm going to use the bigger screwdriver here. Okay, there it is. I don't know if you heard it pop, but the big one's on. I'm going to go ahead and get the rear one, and then I can let the thing go, and I ain't got to sit here and hold it. And it won't come apart then. But these little lock rings are so difficult to work with. They are so tiny. And I can't even get this one to turn, and I just lost it. I know it's laying right here somewhere, so I'm just going to grab another one. I didn't lose it on the ground or anything. And we're going to pop that one on. It's on. Okay, I can let it go now, and let's find that other one. There it is. And we're going to take the other one, and this pin right here, you're going to get one lock ring on each one. That one's on. And this is it. We're just about done here, guys, and we'll put the rifle back together and try to get it uploaded, like I said, tomorrow night, possibly Tuesday, latest Wednesday. I just ran out of time here tonight to do this. Now we have to put the springs. We're still not done though. We got to put these springs on. Okay, I can get that out. I let the one spring go, and it's kind of not where it needs to be, but we can get that out of there. We have the technology, and there it is. Just flip this up. This spring right here, there's a groove in the feed throat. This end is going to go right into that groove, just like so. Then you're going to take this end of the spring. It's got the 90-degree bend, and you got to kind of push it in and down. It's going to go completely underneath onto your, I want to use the proper word again, guys. I don't want to get it wrong. Your cartridge lifter. I call it an injection bar. It's a cartridge lifter. So let's go ahead, take a screwdriver, and this may take you a couple times too. Once again, you got to go down in. I need a smaller one. That one's a little too big. And you got to kind of push in and down, and this could take a few times too. And there it is. And once it's in place, you will see it automatically put pressure on that and lift it right up. And there it is right there. And it sits in the middle of the feed throat and lifts your cartridge. When it comes in through the feed tube, this will be down and compressed just like that. Your round will come in, and this will push it up into place. Okay? And here's your bolt release. And you can see there's no tension on the bolt release. Well, that's because the spring on that is off also. We need to take that spring and bring it around, and it's going to fit right on this bar right here on the back of the bolt release. There's a little bar, there's a notch, and you'll see it. And you got to kind of grab it, stretch it, and get it on there without messing your spring up. And once again, sometimes it's a little easier said than done. And it's just the size of these things that really mess you up. Okay, there it is, it's on. And there's a groove right in the middle of that bar, I guess you can call it. And that spring rides in that groove, so there's no way, under tension, there's no way it's gonna pop out of there and come out. So there you are, there's your slide release, and it's got the proper tension on it. At this point, we can go ahead and put this back into the firearm and hope that it worked. But before I do that, I'm trying to try this out. I've never tried this stuff before. It's called Super Black. It's by Birchwood Casey, and it's a touch-up bluing is what it is. And this is a perfect place to try something like this. It's not on the outside of the firearm where if you put it there, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. This is inside, so who really cares? But you could try it and see how good it matches up. Because this matches where my barrel is. Here, we'll use the trigger guard. That matches up pretty well. It's got a little bit more sheen, not of a dull finish, kind of like the outside of the barrel. But at least you get a rough idea of what it's going to look at like dry. And you got to kind of shake this stuff up. Pull the cap up. Well, it's going to take a while for that to get down in there. Anyway, I should have read the directions on that before I used it. This is new to me, so twist cap removed, depress, tip a few times on scratch paper, start to paint flow. So let's go ahead and see if I can get it flowing. You know what, we'll do a different video on this. I don't have time tonight to play with it, but this is a perfect place to try something like this out, something that goes in the firearm and will not be seen by the eye outside. So with that, let's go ahead and let's put this rifle back together. Okay, here's my barrel. And then I also want to tell you a little story about the magazine tube here and the follower. But first, let's go ahead and get this back into the receiver, and then we'll put the whole barrel, the whole gun basically, into the stock. Now what you got to do here is a little lip right here on the end of this. It fits in this way. Your bolt release is going to be up, well, upside down. It's going to be out the bottom of the firearm. But you also here, you're going to have to go ahead and cock the hammer. Lock the hammer back like so. Locked into place. I know everything is right here. Just by that hammer locking and how crisp and good it sounds, I know everything is okay there. Now once again, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed at that spring, nothing is broken there. But this is a good idea, guys. 22 can be some dirty ammunition, and even if you don't need to change parts, you don't have to do this all the time. But if you put 5,000–6,000 rounds through your firearm, take this stuff apart and clean it. At least I do. I'm very, very particular when it comes to that. I have to get in here, first of all, to see what makes this rifle tick, or any firearm for that matter. I can't stop myself, I have to. But it's also a good idea to get in there once in a blue moon and take everything down and clean it up, oil it down nicely, very little oil, you don't need a lot, just, you know what I'm saying, nice film, clean everything, inspect everything, and you can see if your springs are starting to wear out, or, you know what I'm saying. I'm so tired, guys. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm saying right now. Once again, go ahead and lock that hammer back. It's the only way you're going to get this into the firearm at this time. The lip is going to feed underneath your bar here in the front, and this simply goes down in. It's going to be under a little pressure like so. So push it back a little bit, line your hole up. You line your hole up, go ahead and put your pin in. Like so. There's nothing to keep this pin. This is a spreadable, it's a plastic pin, a polymer type pin. And you could kind of take a screwdriver if you want, if it makes you feel better, and put it in there and give that a little turn, and it opens it up and keeps it from going anywhere. But you really don't even need to do that. It's not going anywhere. Here's my spring right here that they sent me that I don't need. And like I said, I'll go ahead and I'll put that back in a bag and I'll mark it. It's a supposed, or supposable, is that even a word? Hammer spring, but it's longer than the existing one on there that there was nothing wrong with anyway to begin with. Let's go ahead and put this back together and we'll give it a function test. Now guys, I'm not going to shoot any live ammo through this tonight, or for this video for that matter. You know, I can't splice it in later. Well, I could, but I'm not going to. I've got 9 days coming up that I'm going to have off. And when I get those days off, we got quite a few videos. I have quite a few videos planned. Some really good ones, I hope. And hope you guys enjoy them. And I so appreciate everybody watching, and I love the comments, and I love answering them. And if you've commented to me here in the last couple of weeks and I've yet to answer your comment, believe me, I'm not ignoring you. I want to answer your comment. I just simply haven't had time. But when I get that 9 days off, I promise you I will answer every single comment on every single video I have. I take pride in doing that, because I don't want to, if you're nice enough to watch my video that I made, I'm going to be nice enough to answer your comment, you know, and I will. It just might take me a little time, so just please bear with me. Let's go ahead and do a function test on this. Safety Sally's, as you can see, everything was safety checked before we started. The follower's not even in the magazine tube. Oh, I wanted to speak to you guys about that real quick. I have taken these magazine tube fed rifles before, and I've taken the follower out and dumped all the ammo out and said, oh, okay, we're good, nothing's in there. Well, guess what? Sometimes, and it's happened to me only once, but I can't believe I would be the only guy that that's happened to. A round was actually in there that never fell out. Somehow it was kind of twisted or whatever up against the walls inside this magazine tube. And as I was taking the firearm apart down further, all of a sudden this round comes tumbling out of there. And it's like, oh my God. You know, I mean, that could have easily, I could have stuck that follower back in there and went to function tested and shot a round off. Because in my head, I emptied everything out. It wasn't in there. Well, guess what? There was one in there. So kind of, when it comes to these tube-fed magazines here, please do a double check on them, guys. Really, take that from me. I'm not no crazy safety Sally, but I am into gun safety. I treat every firearm as it's loaded, and I always double check. Please do that. Now, with that said, I'm not these people that go crazy when you don't safety check the firearm, that I know you've had enough common sense to check before you made your video, especially guys that make videos all the time like Pete or Mike or anybody for that matter, Nothing Fancy, any of them guys that make videos, TMH on fire. Well, I know the guy's got enough sense that he's safety checked his firearm. He has. Now, with that said, it's a good idea to always do it, and I always do. Let's lock this back. It's got that last round hold back, so that's working flawlessly. As you can see, it held open. There's no ammo in there. That's a good sign. Let's release the bolt here. Sure. Yep. Simply press in your bolt release. It closed like proper. Just point it in a safe direction. There's nothing over in that way. And pull the trigger. Wow. Everything worked good there. Now we need to test it with some live ammo. This was not happening before. It was not locking back properly, as well as ejecting rounds. So this tells me that the feed throat was playing a major role in that. How? I'm still trying to figure out how that would have any effect on keeping your bolt hook open, but it obviously does. So let's close that again, and safe direction, pull the trigger. Okay guys, once again, we're going to get back with this firearm. I'm going to take it to the range and we're going to shoot it. We'll put that on video, and then we can call this gun fixed. Then we're going to clean her up real nice, get her oiled down, and put her back in the safe, and hopefully have years and years and years of pleasure shooting this little planker right here. Once again, the best-selling rifle in American history. Not only 22s, but I'm talking rifles in general. This is the most sold rifle in the United States of America, the Model 60 Marlin. And for good reason. The craftsmanship, the quality, it's just all there. Everything you want in a nice little 22 planker, it's there in this rifle. And like I said, the quality of the stock, even the bluing is just beautiful. Now there's some little nicks on this one because it's a well-used firearm. My dad shot this a lot, and I'm gonna do the same. He'd be proud, I promise you. Anyway, YouTube, I appreciate your patience. I thank you guys for watching, commenting. Please keep them coming. I will get to them. Take longer than I thought, but I will get to you. I promise you I will. Just understand I'm working hours that I literally have no time for anything. Like tonight, once again, got to get up at 2 a.m. I'm going to get about 4 hours sleep tonight, guys. And I work probably 15 to 16 tomorrow. So that's just another week or two of that. Week and a half, actually. Then I get my 9 days off, and we're going to make some videos in that 9 days. And we're going to go shooting, and we're going to have some fun, man. We're going to have a blast. And I'm going to change things up on my channel, hopefully a little bit, too. Some new background, maybe a new banner. And I really want to get some things caught up on that I've been wanting to do and just have not had the time to do it. Anyway, guys, I want to wish everybody out there Merry Christmas. And thank you for watching once again. Please keep them coming. All my Jewish brothers, hope Hanukkah went fantastic. And see ya.